Behind the bag, it gets through Buckner. Here comes Knight, and the Mets win it.
I consider myself the luckiest man on the face of the earth.
Jeter ends his final game with a walk-off single.
Here's the drive to left. That one is long gone.
Welcome to the Long Gone Podcast. It's me, Michael, and with me as always, Asma.
What up?
Steve Ford.
How's it going, man?
Going.
It's going. How about the welcome?
What's going
one and
on?
all. Yeah, what's going on, buddy? Okay.
Yeah. Hey,
Yeah.
so we're embarking on it. I mean, the
It's
first
time.
ballots, they've came out for the All-Star break,
Yeah.
oncoming within a little over a month, I'm
Yeah,
sure.
so the popularity contest, yep.
The popularity contest is here, everybody. I mean, your big vote getters, right? Your Vlad, your Aaron Judges, and all
Still,
that.
even though Aaron Judge is not going to be around for quite some time, but he still gets the votes.
He still gets the votes, which is weird. I mean, automatically, I never understood that with the All-Star game when it's the player who's injured will still get voted in, knowing that they're going to be
knowing
injured
that person's
for it.
not going to, knowing they're going to have to find a replacement anyway.
All it is a resume, like a resume
really
builder.
is. Yep.
So that's interesting. Looking at it at a glance, though, Shea Langoliers is the top vote getter in catchers, which is nice. I mean, I think that sits well with what you and I spoke about at the beginning of the year with how his impact is going to be in the league. And then on the other side of the spectrum, you got Drake Baldwin, which is really nice, who even has more votes, 972,813. Kind of just looking at a glance here. Ben Rice, second. In first baseman in the AL, which is very, very nice. I'm glad to see Ben Rice, man. We got a little Wally, kind of like a Wally Pipp story, right? I mean, Goldschmidt kind of bowed out, and Ben Rice kind of took first and ran with it, which was nice.
Yeah, Ernie Clement in there, see him coming out with the Blue Jays, leading the way at second base, and it's what I like to see back in the mix is Mike Trout leading the way and with some of the outfielders there. You haven't seen Mike Trout high on the list in a while due to the injuries, so it's good to see Mike Trout back up there.
I mean, his power numbers are really good. His average not so great, but you're kind of. I mean, that's kind of been the gist the last 10 years is. Low averages are still getting in. I mean, look at Cal Raleigh. Cal Raleigh was in the low 220s, and he was still making it last year because of what he was doing with home runs. So it's going to be kind of a tight race with shortstops in the AL. I think you got a lot of young. I mean, Bobby Witt Jr. supposedly is now like the grandfather of young shortstops. But behind him, you got Kevin McGonigal. You got Colson Montgomery, who's killing it for the first place White Sox. Gunnar Henderson, I mean, is always going to be up there, but it's going to be definitely a battle amongst them. And, I mean, some new names. I mean, Junior Caminero coming back. I mean, top third baseman in AL. We've kind of seen that. I'm interested to see Travis Bazzana. I mean, he just came up like a month ago, and he's already like third in second base voting.
Yeah, that's good. And then Cody Bellinger getting back on the list, too, again.
Always good to see.
Good to see him back on there. Had his ups and downs with the Dodgers, and he really has found a good spot there. With the Yankees, and a good comeback story with Jordan Alvarez there. At DH, he kind of fell off the face of the earth last year, but now he's 24 home runs, OPS over 1,000. So it's good to see him coming back strong as well.
I mean, there is a weakness with the MLB All-Star voting because it's a fan votes, right? So. Basically, and every team.
Zach McKinstry made an all-star team. Let's
and that's I mean, like I don't love seeing Alec Baum with his whopping 219, 8 average Marsh. With 8 home runs. I don't like seeing that. With 386,000 votes. I mean, it's just you get a lot of those, right? Which isn't fun. I mean, I remember when I was younger, I used to take the All-Star voting very seriously.
Me too.
I always remember they'd have those. It's kind of like
ballots,
they'd have the ballots in like gas stations and stuff.
Yep.
And you would go and submit, right? But the thing with voting is it's like American Idol. You can do it more than once.
Yep.
You
Yep.
can just put
Especially
in
in
as
the
many
age
as
of
you want.
the age of the internet and digital, you can just hit submit. I don't know how many, like 10 times a day or something you can do, or more than that. So it's definitely watered it down a little bit in regard to those higher market teams can really get their get their players in regardless how good the player is. If they are just getting those votes, due to voting multiple times, you're going to get those Brandon Marshes in there, and like you said, Alec Bombs, and last year getting Javi Baez to start in center field. It's crazy.
Right. And that's just kind of where we're at. And I mean, you look at the big sports, baseball probably has the number 1 or 2, I'd say number 1 all-star game in all of sports.
I agree.
I mean, you and I have talked about this before. I mean, and it is, I think if I could give Rob Manfred a real thumbs up would be how he kind of clustered everything into that weekend, into that week, where you have the All-Star occasion, you have the draft, you have the futures games, the home run derby. I mean, a lot of fun stuff going on, and it's fun for the fans. It's fun for the fans that are there, the fans that are at home, and I think when it all comes down to it, I used to get real not upset, but I used to get real sore about it. Like, man, come on, like what's this guy doing in the All-Star game? But I think it is a for fun thing. It is star driven, and you can't have a bunch of Ernie Clements and Alec Bombs lead the way, right? I mean, you got to have.
No one's gonna watch that shit. Come on, you got to have your
you got to have
your Acuñas, your Judges,
Skeens, and yes.
Yep.
So,
you got to have those big names.
And that's kind of where we're at right now. I mean, a lot you're going to see. I think when the All-Star game, the voting is finalized, I think the big thing is how many All-Stars per team do you see, right? I mean, we've had many years where it's like, holy shit, the thing is stacked with Yankees or Tigers or Dodgers and things like that. And you're going to definitely see that, but it's going to be interesting to me. I want to see some of the bottom feeder teams like the Mets. How many are the Mets truly going to have, right? Even the mid-range teams like the Pittsburgh Pirates, how many are they truly going to have? So that's always an interesting aspect, I think, of the All-Star game, because that's really a testament of how good your team is, the more All-Stars you have.
Yeah. I am curious to see with the Mets, because they have technically so many quote-unquote superstars on that team. How many are, they're obviously not meeting expectations this year, but how many will end up getting voted in? It'll be curious to see what happens there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So and another thing that the All-Star week does, it kind of goes right into the trade deadline, which you and I have hinted at last week. And we're going to be talking about as the weeks get closer and closer. It's always a fun time of year to talk about what teams are going to do. You and I last week, we did some buying and selling and staying pat, which, I think there was a pretty good mix, right? I mean, I think you and I was asking you a lot, and you had a lot of good mixes. There really wasn't many teams that were not going to be involved, right? But for the most part, staying pat. So today, I kind of want to do the same thing I did a little bit last week, but I want to ask you a couple guys or a couple teams, and on those teams, who would be your no trade? Like, no matter what, if they're a seller, are those players or are they safe? Okay, so we know. Right, we know the Yankees are gonna buy at the trade deadline. They always do when they're obviously over 500. Even the Scotch over 500, they're gonna buy. Right, so we know the no touch list of Judge. He's a no touch guy, right? But okay, Steve, teams coming to you saying, okay, they're gonna need to beef up their pitching. I think they need a little bit more depth in the field, and say they do get the guys like that. Who would Bellinger be on a no-touch list for you? Let me see a couple more guys. Would Luis Gil be on a no-touch list for you? Who would be a Ben Rice? Who would be on a no-touch list for you, for sure, other than Judge, who is the obvious?
I'd say definitely. I would say Ben Rice would be on that list, just because of what he can do and his versatility. He can play first, but he can also catch as well, and he's just having a fantastic year. And you take that bat out of the lineup, I think it makes the Yankees that much worse. So I'd say Ben Judge. Ben Judge is a mix of Aaron and Ben. Ben Rice would be on there. I would say to an extent, yeah, Cody Bellinger. I would even say, man, I was going to say Spencer Jones, but the guy's not having a good year. He's a young up and
He's
coming
trying to find
catcher
his
there.
footing for sure.
He's still just trying to get his footing. So, I mean, that might be one that you could cut ties with, but definitely Ben Rice, Cody Bellinger. Looking at the pitching, I would say Schlitter. I would say he's on a no touch list just because of what he's doing with the Yankees, leading the league in innings pitched, leading the league in ERA. Record at 7-3. I'd say he's definitely a no touch as well.
Okay. I'm going to do a team that's a little bit harder. That was a little warm-up team there because that's, obviously that's very destined. The Chicago White Sox are taking the league by storm right now.
Yeah,
they had our worst nightmare as a Detroit Tigers fan where the rebuild didn't work. So you rebuild the rebuild.
Yep.
And they did. And somehow, I don't know if they're winning too soon now or if this is a team that's really on the rise. I thought the smart signings with Sir Anthony Dominguez, Munetaki, Murakami. The list goes on. And then you're getting performances by starters like Davis Martin and that Steve and this is everybody who's on the no touch list for the Chicago White Sox. And mind you, a lot of teams, I mean, I think they're going to need more pitching, especially in the back end. They're going to need reliever help. Who's on the no touch list if you're on the Chicago White Sox?
I would say Murakami would definitely be one just because, he's kind of just become, the face of that franchise right now, right off the bat, with the dope nickname was the Southside Samurai.
Hell yeah, dude.
I'd say Murakami. I would say even someone like a Davis Martin who's leading the league in wins right now because, Chicago's going to need their pitching and outside of Martin, their starting pitching's been a little sus. With a lot of people with ERAs over 4. So I'd say keep him on the no touch list, and I would say hold on to Sir Anthony Dominguez as well. I mean, he's he's your lockdown closer. He's doing well. Your bullpen in general is just doing a fantastic job. You look at the offense for Chicago, which is great. But the starting pitching has been, outside of Davis Martin, it's been, kind of up and down, but the bullpen's just been kind of lock solid. So keep Davis Martin around, or Davis Martin around as well as Murakami, and like I'd say even hold on to Colson Montgomery. I mean, he's hitting 223, but you got to hold on to that guy too, just because the future's bright for him. So those would just be a few names that I'd say are untouchable for the White Sox.
And it's coming into a weird time, right? Because say they are ahead of schedule, but you don't want to sacrifice your future because you do have good prospects coming up, but you don't want to taint the pool and start just unloading on prospects just to win now because you don't know if this team is fugazi, if it's going to be a flash in the pan, or if it's something where you're like, we could really win something this year. Like, what do you do if you're that team? I mean, I feel like you really got to just tread water and just kind of
tread it and kind of ride it out and see what happens. I think, I want to put all the eggs in the basket just because you're ahead of schedule right now. I would say ride it out, continue to watch the youngsters develop, and don't give up on people just to try and win this year because you don't know what's going to happen in the future. So,
what about? Here's another interesting team is the St. Louis Cardinals. I don't know if they're ahead of schedule or if they're behind schedule because remember, I was calling for Oliver Marmoyle's head for the last 2 years. But somehow this team that rebuilt itself and still has some aging stars, but mostly youngsters are winning. Like who's a no go? Like this guy isn't part of our conversation when we're talking about trades.
I think you got to start with a guy who I'm glad they didn't give up on, and that's Jordan Walker. I mean, the guy's having a career this year, 297 average. He's leading the league in RBIs. Still only 24 years old, so still just coming into his own. I think that's someone that you definitely have to hold on to. Looking at the the pitching side here, I think anyone's up for grabs there on this team, because pitching isn't really, their calling card. They have a solid, a nice average rotation, but nothing really to write home about. I'd look more at the offensive side. Look at a JJ Weatherholt. He's definitely, I think, a guy that is, you can't touch him. He shouldn't be involved in any trade talks. Even I'll go as far as I was going to say Mason Wynn, but he's doing all right at 232. He's still, again, he's super young.
Future, yeah.
I think he's a future. I think for as far as those three, Weatherholt, Wynn, and Jordan Walker, I think you build around those three. So I'd say, hands off to them, but really anyone in the pitching department, I think is up for grabs.
I would say out of that team, people who would be up for grabs, I think Lars Nootbaar could be seen.
Definitely. Yeah.
He's had kind of an unfortunate start to the year, obviously with injuries and what have you, but there's still value there at 28 years old. I think that's a guy that they can easily pedal and not, and I don't think it would hurt the team, in my opinion.
I don't think so either. Yeah, especially like you said, injuries, but the lack of offensive numbers, even when he is on only 2 home runs and 5 RBIs and limited action, but still. Yeah, I think is a guy who, still has some value. When he is healthy, he's a really good player, but I can see them, getting rid of him and still not missing a beat and, still getting some value in return.
Here's an interesting one, and I want you to tell me who's off limits, but who's not off limits. And I want to know if you and I think the same way on this one. A team that is just clunky, has been clunky for a while, has been the Padres.
Yeah.
There's been talk that they could unload stars, but do they want to do that? Because right now it's hard. It's kind of unfair because you're in the same division as the Los Angeles Dodgers. That's a tough one, right?
Yeah, you're already at a disadvantage.
You are, man, but you've already seen like the Arizona Diamondbacks get good and kind of build the core of their team. Where the San Diego Padres, one year they're really good, one year they're really bad. You're getting good performances. Manny Ramirez is having a horrible year for the most part, and Fernando Tatis and some of those. Steve, who are the no trades, the off limit guys, and who are the guys that you wouldn't mind seeing letting go in a trade?
You know what? Yeah, I'll probably catch you for this, but you could probably get a decent return for a youngster like a Jackson Merrill. He's having an off year offensively.
Wow.
Only a 205 average, 7 home runs, 27 RBIs. You can plug somebody else in, I think, and get just the same, if not better offensively, and then still get some good value in return. I'm still going, with them. I think one that you don't touch still is a Fernando Tatis Jr.
Wow.
He's coming into his quote unquote prime. He's 27, 28 years old. I think he's the face of your franchise. You build around him. Manny Machado, I think at his age and just having such a bad year, it might be time to cut bait. And see what you can get for him. Even someone, another older person, Xander Bogaerts, that's a guy who, is getting near his twilight here in his mid 30s, might, look around, see what you can get for him. But I'd say as far as untouchables, I'd say Tatis Jr. right now is one that I'm looking at as at least offensively as an untouchable player.
I think I would go on the opposite side of that spectrum for me, just because
get rid of him?
I think you could get a lot for him at this age because he is, like you said, he's in a prime age where he's in the prime. His contract's movable, right?
Right.
But he is in that prime age, and it's like you don't want to get rid of him, but he's not having a great year either.
Right.
But he's not having a horrible year, but he's not having a Fernando Tatis year.
Yeah.
And I kind of harken back to the Yankees, right? When Stanton and Judge were going to be the Twin Towers, everybody thought, okay, this is the team to guide us. And they really weren't. It was Judge and a cast of characters that became supporting guys.
Yep.
And it went through iterations, right? You had him and Soto, you had him and other guys with Torres and Cabrera and some of those guys. And then now it's Ben Rice and Aaron Judge and Jazz Chisholm Jr. So I feel like if the Twin Towers of the Padres are truly Tatis and Machado, Machado's contract's going to be horrible to move. Nobody's going to want that contract because his age, right? And the amount that's still owed. And I feel like Tatis would be easier to pedal. But then it comes back to what kind of you said. I mean, like you could see Jackson Merrill, but do you gonna give up on that young player, right? Who's been kind of an up and down. So, but if comes a point with the Padres where you got to admit that it's not working. I'm not saying it's not working now, Steve. I think a lot of it has to do with their pitching. I think a lot of it has to do with their depth in there. And I think a lot of it has to do with poor drafting. There's some that work, Steve, but you kind of look at the overall sum of what they were able to bring up in the last 5 years, and it's really slim. It's really slim.
I agree.
For a supporting cast there. So I would say Tatis would be the easier move because you can almost jumpstart your farm system again. But that's only if you're going into a rebuild.
Yep.
That's the way I look at that anyways.
Yeah, no, I see that. Yeah, and they're sitting 3 games over 500, but like you said, they're, handicapped by the fact that they're in the NL West. So really you're going to be fighting for a wild card at this point.
Yeah.
You got to, hang your hopes on a wild card and do you continue to, tread along in hopes of getting that best of 3 series, or are you like, all right, are we doomed to consider this a failure and try and jumpstart and contend with the Dodgers for the division instead of trying to just fight for a wild card? So it's a tough call at this point.
Especially this year, because I think the wild card is going to be such a tight race. I mean, are the Nationals going to keep doing what they're doing with winning? Is the Pittsburgh Pirates going to, 1 week they're 2 games above 500, the next week they're a game or 2 below 500. But then the Cardinals, and then the Cubs are certainly starting to take a massive dip, which is interesting. And I mean, I think that wild card race, Steve, is going to be tight. We know the Brewers are going to advance. We know the Dodgers are going to advance. Atlanta, even without Acuna, the glass joints Acuna, is still doing amazing. So I think that wild card, Steve, might be one of the closest races we've seen in a long time.
Oh, yeah. I mean, almost anyone is, still technically in it unless you're the Rockies or even the Giants. But, there's, countless amounts of teams here that are in contention for those 3 spots. It's going to be fun to watch over the summer here.
Absolutely. Real quick to round out our headlines. Got to talk about it, man. So, Spencer Strider, is he the next Black Flaherty? I mean, Jack Flaherty?
Dude, he might be. I mean, I think I saw an article or something. He hasn't looked the same since coming, off the IL with these injuries. He's definitely just not the same pitcher. This is a guy who came on the scene. He was the mustache man, coming in.
He was great.
With Atlanta, just a great pitcher. And since then, it's been what's his? I'm looking at this year. He's got an ERA over 5. He really is got Jack Flaherty-esque right here. It's crazy just to see what an injury can do to this player. Just a guy who was 2023. Couple years removed from a top 5 Cy Young award finish and Rookie of the Year runner-up in 2022, and then just since then it's been 2 starts in 2024. He played for the most part a full season in 2025, but he was 7-14, and then this year just only putting together 8 starts. He's just kind of he might be part of our forgotten series here at some point, but I don't even think he's played well enough to even get into the forgotten series. He had like 2 good years. It's crazy.
I know. Yeah, he kind of reminds me of a Tim Lincecum, but Tim Lincecum has a better resume, right? Tim Lincecum won the Cy Young, won the World Series.
Some World Series, yep.
Right, and then just kind of vanished. And Spencer Strider, it kind of like Flaherty. Flaherty came out of the gate really clunky, and then in 2019 he picked it up, right? He had that 2.75 ERA. He was looking really good. I think he came like 3rd or 4th in Cy Young voting, and then he had some injury-plagued years, to say the least, right? In the mid-20s, and he came back at 25 years old, then had more injury-plagued career, and then he had that one bright season in 24, right? And then it just back to shit again. So Flaherty's been doing it a little bit longer because he's gotten more chances, but Spencer Strider, I mean, for a guy that, not a really big guy, 6 foot, $195, and I really liked what he brought. I liked how he came at pitchers, but he wasn't a stupid pitcher. I mean, he was at times he could be a technician, but other times he was a power pitcher. And I really liked what Spencer Strider brought, but I don't know if it's the way he pitches, why he got those, but I feel like after he got injured in 24, that was kind of it. Right. I mean, that was, he it's kind of like Flaherty. When you got injured, that bad injury, something kind of changed. And I just wonder if he's going to ever come back, because right now he's heading to the IL again. He's in the IL again with inflammation of his right arm. And it makes you wonder, Steve, are pitchers like this just kind of a flash in the pan and then just kind of end up flaming out?
I think they might be. It's really crazy to see someone fall this quickly and just what an injury can do. Because we've seen other pitchers, bounce back from injuries. We saw Garrett Cole come back. He was out for, a year or so. He's come back and really, has been helping out the Yankees rotation. And, other pitchers, Justin Verlander comes back and he, bounced back. I'm not talking about this year. Guy blows this year, but come back from injury before, and some players are able just to bounce back and pick up like it's nobody's business, but others, get to that height, and then the injury takes them down, and they can't seem to get themselves back up off the mat. And I feel like that's what's happening here with Strider. It's crazy.
I couldn't agree more, and it's sad too because at one time you looked at him, you and I were like, "Here we go, next Maddox and Glavine, here we go."
Yep. The Braves rotation with Max Fried and Strider, and
yes,
it was just a heck of a top of the rotation there. Is the Braves did it again. They just keep churning out these pitchers, and unfortunately for them, for Strider and for Atlanta, it's not working these last few years.
Yeah, and they used to be like kind of like Penn State's linebacker U. They used to be that system that would just churn out good pitchers.
Yep.
I mean, you would have good pitchers that just were log jammed because of the Smoltz, Glavine, and Maddox, and Avery, right, and some of them,
right.
And then they would have to get shipped to other teams, and just because there was no room for them. I mean, they would, and now we're seeing, and it's not for lack of trying. I mean, these guys have J.R. Ritchie, Owen Murphy. I mean, some guys that they drafted they're just not showing what they can do fully.
Right.
Or they come up and they just kind of flame out, right? I mean, the Schwellenbach and there was
one.
Right there. They had some guys in there. I mean, the when Spencer Strider was hurt the year before last, it was kind of like, okay, Max Free, not Max, Chris Sale. I know you're injured, but take it from here, buddy. Mike Soroka was supposed to be the next big deal. Never was, and I don't know if it's just the way that they practice their pitchers, the way that they handle their pitchers. I think that's something we should look into. But in 23, Spencer Strider at 20 wins, 5 losses, he routinely posted an elite strikeout percentage that hovered around 38%, meaning he retired more than a third of the batters he faced via the strikeout. He was hitting up in the 97 to 101 miles an hour consistently. And then after that injury, Steve fell off the table. And you got to wonder if you're Atlanta, do you just keep going back to the draft, or what do you do? Do you look inward, like maybe development?
Man,
I mean, I don't know.
I think it all comes down to I mean, the development, the strength and conditioning on these pitchers and players in general. Like what's going on? Take a look at the coaches there. Look inward. If you continuously are having these injuries, then it's got to be something with the development of the players and the coaches that are handling these players, I think. Absolutely, Steve. So that's something that, we thought that with Tyler Glasnow, and then he had a second shot with the Dodgers. So there are guys that come back, but then for every Tyler Glasnow and Shane McClanahan, you end up getting who's Alex Manoah? Remember him? Yeah.
Amazing.
Geez, yeah.
And I mean, the next CC Sabathia. I mean, he had very CC Sabathia, Roger Clemens asked to him and flamed out.
Yeah. Couldn't even get
so
back out of the minors.
Yeah, and now I think he's with the Angels organization. I don't even know, and it's
that's where people go to die. Is the Angels organization? Yeah,
maybe I think some of these guys overthrow, and then it's like a running back in the NFL. You only get so many years. Once you hit the 29, 30 mark, you're kind of washed. And I think with pitchers, you're seeing increasingly. I'm not saying this is every pitcher, Steve, but I do see a lot of pitchers who do flame out before 30, and. I think an interesting case study, I think down the line one day, I want to see where Casey Mize ends up, because I was so critical of the Detroit Tigers for putting kid gloves on him. And this was a guy that would end up getting dead arm a lot. This was a guy that they didn't give him it's like 4 innings gone, no, let him keep going. It builds that elasticity in your ligaments, and you're able, I mean, look at your best pitchers in the game. They were never hulking guys. They had slingshot arms, and they didn't do that with Mize, and I think that really kind of plagued his career. Mize was kind of a power pitcher coming out, and then he had to become a tactician. Remember, I remember when he was drafted, he only had like 3 or 4 pitches. He had to like gain 2 more pitches just to add to the repertoire because his velocity went down. Now he has plus stuff, but can he stay healthy? That's the biggest thing with him.
Yeah,
and
maybe he needs to get fat like Tarek Skubal has. If you notice that he's picked up the pounds here a little bit. And it reminds me of, you talk about the pitchers aren't big hulking guys. Remember Mickey Lolich had that dad gut there, but he continuously go out and throw 300 innings like it was no problem. So I think Tarek Skubal, they did a side-by-side comparison of Skubal in 2021 to Skubal now, and it's like night and day of how much heavier he is now. But he's gotten better.
Didn't Roger Clemens get better the fatter he got?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Some of those guys, dude. CC Sabathia, I thought when he was heavy, he was the best.
Yeah.
There's something that's said behind that. I think certain masses, certain bodies can handle that. I mean, look at Bartolo Colon. Nobody remembers skinny Bartolo Colon. They remember fat, jolly fucking Bartolo Colon when you him. That dude just throwing fucking awesome, pitch until he's 50. Sure. So, there is something to be said for that, and I think that's an interesting case study. I would like to see where pitchers are 20 years from now, because Dave Roberts, there was an interesting article in ESPN that came out a handful of weeks ago. Dave Roberts is one of the only pitchers in the league right now that is forcing his pitchers to go beyond 6-7 innings, and sometimes over 100 pitches. You see that with Yamamoto. You see that with some of their starters. And he says, we're getting back to the old way. And he was kind of a throwaway quote, but I think there was a little bit more behind that. And I'm interested to see how that transpires within the league, because I think I want to get back to the complete game guys, the guys that can, complete a game and don't have to,
If he sets the trend and they're winning, it's going to set the tone. It's kind of like, remember in basketball, the 3-point shot was always just like, frowned upon. But then Steph Curry started chucking them up from everywhere, and the Warriors started winning championships. Now everyone fucking chucks up threes, So maybe it'll go back to, the Dodgers, they just won a 3rd straight World Series here, and Dave Roberts is pitching his pitchers late in the innings, and it seems to be working. Let's try it. Let's try it on our team. So we shall see.
And you see sports evolve. I mean, look at, like you were just mentioning basketball. You're seeing better defense come back, right? I'm starting to see them lay off calls a little bit. They're letting them get the flow a little bit more in basketball, and suddenly it's becoming a little bit more watchable. So where NFL is regressing, right? NFL, it's like, okay, you can't hit them certain ways. They're being too safe and too, So
the whole kickoff.
And so all the sports are just kind of, it's interesting how they evolve, but then sometimes fall back into it. So anyways, we're at this point where we're going to do another game. But before we kind of hit to the game part of the show, how about we hear a word from our sponsor?
Let's do it.
Whether you're a casual collector or a seasoned card enthusiast, the Penny Sleever is your one-stop shop for all your card protection needs. They carry everything from classic regular sleeves and versatile top loaders in multiple thicknesses, 35-point, 55-point, 75-point, 100-point, and beyond, to premium magnetic card holders and specially graded card sleeves perfect for PSA and SGC slabs. Need resealable bags, team bags, vintage sleeves, or colored top loaders? They have over 71 products in stock, all priced to help you build and protect your collection without breaking the bank. And now they're offering an exclusive promotion just for you. First-time buyers can get 10% off their entire order with promo code LONGGONE. Just visit thepennysleever.com and use that code at checkout. Don't let your valuable cards go unprotected. Shop the Penny Sleever today and see why collectors trust them with their most prized possessions. The Penny Sleever. Premium protection, penny pinching prices.
Oh yeah.
There they are. Rock that merch. Rock those bumpers. You love the bumpers there. And
I love
Penny
the bumpers.
Sleever, they do them better than anybody. Great people, affordable shipping rates. In this economy here, you got to pinch pennies where you can, and you do it there. Penny Sleever, anything $59 and below is a $7 flat rate. Anything over that's free shipping. So they got you covered there. Your collectibles, your cards are an investment, and it's important to get the stuff to protect that investment, and that's what you get there at Penny Sleever. So
absolutely.
Yep. Yep,
Get 'em.
they are the
condom for your cards, baby.
There it is. I was about to say they're the condom for your cards. So check them out. Use promo code long gone for 10% off your your first order there. So check them out. Great people.
Good shit.
Good
so,
shit.
So Steve, what do we got? What do we got here? You threw this one out into the...
I did. It's we talked about it earlier. We got the first round of all-star votes in, and if the season was a 7-layer salad, I'd say we're probably in between the third and fourth layers right now. We're getting right about to that halfway point. So since we're almost at that halfway point, I figured it'd be time to play a game of no worries, concerned, or panic, where we list a team, and then I give you 4 teams, you give me 4 teams, and we decide on those if we're no worries, everything's kosher, everything's good, or if we're concerned about what's going on with them, or if we're hitting up panic mode. So it's a fun game we do at least once a year. So I thought it'd be time for that.
Yeah, well, I mean, at the beginning of the year, we do that right? We do the overreaction, and then about a month in, we kind of do that, should we check in with them and do like a temperature check? And then now this is where we know what teams we have in Major League Baseball.
Yep,
absolutely.
For sure. Yeah, especially since we're getting closer to trade deadline.
Absolutely, Steve. So I'm gonna ask you one, then we'll just, what do you do? Should we do 1 and 1?
So let's do 1 and 1.
3 and 3?
Go back and forth.
Okay, so Steve, I want to bring up the Chicago Cubs.
Sure.
All right, we mentioned them briefly. We mentioned the interesting tide that has turned, even though they started out pretty hot.
Yeah.
So the Chicago Cubs, Steve, no worries on this team, concerned or panic as we are entering close to the All-Star break?
If you would have asked me this, I'd say even 2 or 3 weeks or, close to a month ago, I'd say there's no worries. They're off to that hot start, running away there with the division. And now they've, seem to hit a bit of a bump there. So I'm going to say concerned. I'm looking at the odds. They still got about a 51% chance of making the postseason there. But, not quite into panic. They're 3 games over 500. We talked about them. They're going to be in that, that wild card race most likely, because the Brewers are doing Brewers-like things and running away with the Central. So I'm not quite in the panic stage, more in the concern. But if they fail to deliver again, Cubs got to start looking at Craig Counsell here, and Craig Counsell's got to look in the mirror too. Like, fuck, I left the Brewers a chance to be the highest paid manager in team history, and the Brewers have continued without me, and here I am. I fucking missed the playoffs my first couple of years at the helm here. So I'm gonna go concerned, not quite panicking yet.
Makes sense.
Yeah,
makes sense.
Yep. Looking at my first one for you, take a low-hanging fruit here. I'll go with our local team, the Detroit Tigers, and the dumpster fire that was the month of May. They've turned it around slightly in June, but still sit 6 games, or 6 games out of a wild card spot, 9 games out of first place in the AL Central. Mike, no worries on the Tigers, concerned or panicked?
I'll try to keep it as short as possible. I'm definitely going to go panicked here. Even though they're having a better June, I still doesn't make up for what happened in May, right? It's like, how do I describe this? Say every time you go out to a bar with me, I get into a fight. And at the end of the night, I'm fine. And you're like, well, yeah, but you keep fighting. Like, what's going on there?
Yeah.
And you can't forget about me always getting into that fight. The Tigers are the same way. Like, okay, say they do turn it around. What happened? Like, why was it so bad in May? Is that a leadership thing, which you and I, in a few shows ago, we definitely pointed to in AJ Hinch, and I'm still going to stay by that. Yeah. Is it bad coaching in terms of like the hitting coach, the pitching coaches, pitching coach, or is it a player problem? Is it the injuries? I mean, what is it? And the problem is, I am panicked, Steve, because I just don't think they have the talent to do what they did last year. Even if they do go on some of these runs and all that, I've seen enough mid to know players that need to be cut bait. Torkelson, right? Torkelson need to cut bait. Jack Flaherty has no business being in a rotation anymore. Gleyber Torres is hurt again, so we know how that is going to happen. What road that's going down. You do have some bright spots. Why Colt Keith decided to have a 3 home run game to go above what he was hitting all year. Suddenly he turned it around. Why was it just one game that happens? I just, it's so bizarre to me. Why are you starting Jahmai Jones over Kerry Carpenter, who has better hit probability, who is just a better hitter overall? So I'm panicked, and I'm not panicked like, oh my God, what are we going to do? I'm panicked like, oh my God, this team's a shit show and they can't get out of their own way. And I don't think they know what they're doing. So that's where I'm at.
I saw an interesting stat on the Tigers. AJ Hinch has pinch hit more than any manager in baseball this year. He's pinch hit 90 times.
Yep.
Of that, 12 have actually worked where he got base hits.
If you're an analytical coach, why aren't you doing analytics then? Like that's maybe fire analytical. I don't, dude. I'm just gonna get upset. I'm gonna have to count to 10.
Yeah.
I'm gonna scare my dogs. Yeah. It's just when you just said that, it just makes you just flabbergasted. At that point, it's like 90. This team doesn't know what it's doing. They don't know what they're doing. To me, it's just they're just throwing shit at a wall and seeing what sticks. I don't know. Fucking, it's a bummer, dude. Okay. I don't know if this is low-hanging fruit or not, but it's definitely an interesting team. I mean, remember another team that started out really hot and then they kind of cooled off, and they have, the Rangers at their heels a little bit, and the Astros aren't like far behind, but it's the soon-to-be Las Vegas A's. All right, okay. They do better on the road than they do home, which is funny because they don't really have a home yet. But
right, yeah.
Are you concerned about this team? Panicked? No concern? No worries? What are you looking at with the A's?
You know what? All right, they're sitting at 500 right now, 36-36. If you were to ask any run of the mill A's athletics fan here, would you be content with 500 as we're in the middle of June? I think a lot of them would say yes. So I'm going to go no worries right now, just because I feel like they're ahead of where people expected them to be. They had a nice start to the season, led the West there for a bit. Still in good contention for a wild card spot. Still have a 36% chance or so to make the postseason. You got great foundational pizzas with a Nick Kurtz, Langoliers, just a great foundation there. And I think you're kind of exceeding your expectations. So at this point, I'm going to say no worries when it comes to the Athletics. I like where they're at.
Yeah, kind of a low thing, right? You're like, if I am panicked, why? Right? Because it's such a shit division. Even it's like anything a 500 or above is like a win-win. So like, great. Yeah.
I'm gonna go from the AL Central to the AL East. I'm gonna go with our defending American League champion Toronto Blue Jays, currently sitting 10 games out of first at 34-38. So, Mike, the Blue Jays, no worries, concerned, or panicked over in Toronto.
Is there a category above panicked? Because I think that's that's like a nuclear meltdown. This isn't the same team we saw last year. Bo Bichette's his star is going up again, and which is about the right time because this is what he does almost every year. Vlad Guerrero has 3 home runs on the year, Steve. How is that fucking possible? How is that possible? You paid this man 2 hit home runs
in fantasy.
Yeah. You paid this man 2. I mean, he was like a contended first pick in the draft in most fantasy drafts this year. I don't understand it. I mean, he's still an all-star because it's not like he's a slouch, but your best player has been Ernie Clement and Okamoto, which, like, hats off to the Japanese Japanese prospects who came in the league, and a lot of people just didn't know if they wanted to take risks on him. Okamoto sat out there forever, Murakami, and their team's like just shunning him. Oh, no, we don't want those guys. They're some of the best players in the league right now. I mean, Okamoto's playing out of his fucking mind. Average aside, we knew he was never a hitability guy. He was never a hit for average guy. He's always been a home run guy. 15 home runs, 42 RBIs, leads the team with 42 RBIs. I'm scared with Vlad Guerrero because we know he's started slow before, but he's hitting okay. He's getting, I mean, he's always had an 80 grade hit tool. His power was always there. And he's always provided power, but where's the power? Why aren't you hitting home runs? What aren't you seeing this year? I think the hitting's more concerning than the pitching just because the pitching's been mostly injured. The majority of their pitchers have been injured. I thought it was horrible from them not to re-sign Sir Anthony. Dominguez,
I agree.
which the White Sox did.
Yep.
It's weird because he was hanging out there and they didn't sign him for crazy amounts. I don't understand why the Blue Jays suddenly, off the heels of a World Series appearance, decided to go cheap.
Yeah.
Don't get it, man. Don't get this team. It's nuclear panic on this team, 100%. Yeah.
I agree with you on that. It's crazy, man.
Yeah, dude. It's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so the team that we talked about a little bit earlier in the show that it's just, I mean, what do you do? I mean, especially if you don't do it again this year, you really got to think of retooling. But Steve, they're not horrible. They're still a good team. The Padres, no worries, concern, panic. I mean, maybe I throw some shit at them, but maybe you see some light. What do you think?
That should be a slogan. And they're not horrible. I think with the, the years we've been going here, I think at this point you're in panic mode. We talked about it a bit earlier. Manny Machado, he's not what you expect him to be, batting $177. Got the power with 12 home runs, 35 RBIs, but he's really the only one that has been giving you that power outside of Gavin Sheets is second in the team with 11 home runs. You're not getting the power. Fernando Tatis, he's hitting well for average here, doing good there, but the guy's only got 24 RBIs and 2 home runs. That's crazy. The pitching sucks. I'm not in nuclear panic mode like you are with the Blue Jays, but it's I think it's not working. You hold a 25% chance of making the postseason. You ain't gonna win the division. Let's be fucking for real. That ain't happening. A month ago or so, we thought you were sniffing the fart of the division, but then you kind of fallen off the face of the earth here a bit. But so you got to bank on the wild card, but you got 8 other teams or so that are battling for those 3 wild card spots. So unless your offense picks it up here and your pitching finally decides to find a strike zone here, outside of Michael King, he's 4-5 with an ERA almost 3.5. Your starters have just been kind of. I'm gonna go. I'm in panic mode in San Diego right now, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Team blows.
Yeah, this team blows. Yeah.
Moving on, I'm gonna move to the National League here as well. I'm gonna go to the St. Louis Cardinals. Like we talked about them earlier. Some people that were potentially on their no touch list. We talked about, are they ahead of where they should be? Are they technically behind where they should be? They're sitting at 39-31, 4.5 games out of first there. In contention there, obviously, for those wild card spots. Mike, no worries, concerned, or panic for the St. Louis Cardinals?
Nah, man, it's no worries. Weekend at Bernie's, man. This team could be a dead body right now, and it wouldn't be no worries. And the reason why is because nobody expected them to do as good as they're doing. I'm not saying they're one of the best in the division. They're, I mean, they're no slouches either. They're second place, 39-31, definitely in a good spot in the wild card. But I really do want to say it's like, don't listen to fucking armchair quarterbacks like me, like the schlub like me, because I wrote off Jordan Walker last year. I wrote off Alec Burleson. I wrote off some of these other guys, a wannabe catcher and Ivan Herrera, like I want to be top catcher. I mean, clearly these guys just needed more time to develop. And in a league, in a sport that you kind of got to produce. I mean, every season's like the end all be all, right? Yeah. But I thought they had an incredible offseason in terms of bolstering that pen. And they decided to ride with the young guns. I mean, we can talk about Jordan Walker all day, who's having an MVP type season. Alec Burleson, right? JJ Weatherholt, the future of that club. Mason Wynn, a good leader. I mean, I really do think right now there's no worries because there's nothing to worry about. They can make the postseason and be darlings, or they couldn't and still be okay. I mean, led by rotation of Dustin May and Michael McGreevy and Matthew Liberatore, and just they decided to go young, right? That was something that we pointed to last year. Like, hey, get these fucking Michaelis guys out of the fucking rotation.
He was
great. Right. But they're backed up by a pen that I actually don't hate. There's some guy. I mean, there's there's bright spots in that pen that I see getting better every game. I mean, are they the best pen in the league? No, but I think they're one of the high risers. You're going to watch them late in the season. If that pen can carry them, I think they'll be okay. But I really like what their young rotation's doing as well, and their young hitters are coming through, right? So definitely no worries. I think they're Oliver Mormoyles. If the Cardinals listened to people like me, they would have just blew it all up, and they did blow it all up, but somehow they bounced back, which is crazy. So no worries.
Good. Okay.
Okay, Steve, looking at your last team here, from one of the worst divisions in baseball, that was actually one of the strongest last year, was, part of last year, is the Seattle Mariners. No worries, concerned, panicked?
I'm going to go concerned only because, your division stinks. All right, let's call a spade here. Anyone hovering around 500 has a chance in this division, but I thought they'd be doing a lot better than where they're at right now, only sitting a game over 500. And the big concern for me comes with their injured catcher right now, Cal Raleigh. Obviously, last year is proving to be just a flash in the pan. I mean, the guy's hitting $161, 7 home runs, 18 RBIs, and he's injured. J.P. Crawford injured as well. This team's dealt with some injuries here. Julio is having a solid season, not average wise, but the team's doing well offensively. They got multiple people in double digits and home runs. Would like to see that pitching turn up a little bit. George Kirby is kind of taking a step back. Wu is kind of taking a little bit of a step back this year, compared to what they were doing last year. Coming within a game of the World Series. So I'm not panicking because I know that this team can put together. They just got to get healthy. But I'm slightly concerned. I feel they can be better than where they're at right now.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah. Last for me, I'm going to go with the team that has one of the top payrolls in all of baseball and sucks massive amount of crap. That's going to Queens here in the New York Mets. The Mets here currently sit in dead last in the AL East at 32-40, 14 and a half games out of first. Have a lot of teams to leapfrog to get back in the wild card. Again, they spent some money. They brought in Bo Bichette. They obviously the year before signed Juan Soto to that big contract, and so far putting the names, they're a good team on paper, but on the field it just hasn't worked out, Mike. So is it no worries, concerned, or panic for the Mets?
I mean, isn't it funny to see teams like the Nationals, who built from the draft just ahead of them and doing better, and in a team, I always like seeing that. Not trying to throw shade at the Mets, right? But that huge payroll. I mean, they bought their team, and it's still just not working.
Suck.
And you and I made a push episodes ago where maybe Pete Alonso was the missing link, and it was well, he's not killing it in fucking Baltimore either, so
right.
Maybe that's not it. Listen, it'd be easy for me to just hit the nuclear button and say, throw the deck chairs off the Titanic, this fucker's sinking, and panic. But I am going to say concerned because we've panicked about the Mets before.
Right.
There's been seasons where they start out hot, then they cool off. That's most of their seasons. And then there's other seasons where they haven't started out great and then come back. I mean, I don't want to fully say this has been a failure until the end of the season because you got to see where they're at. I don't think they set their team up pitching wise. At the start of the season, everybody was like, well, Tarek Skubal is going to be a Met, right? Tarek Skubal. I mean, the Mets got to go for Tarek Skubal. Yeah, but if they're out of it, they're not even going to be in the running. I mean, what? They're going to try to get a rental player? That's not going to be it, right? So, I mean, they would just wait till he hits the open market and then start bidding. So, I mean, arguably, it's probably safe to say they're out of the Tarek Skubal market right now. Norman McLean's their best pitcher, but even he's not having great starts, right? I mean, he's over 4 ERA now. It hasn't been great. I mean, you're getting pitching from Clay Holmes is coming in there and fucking killing it, and but Freddie Peralta and David Peterson. I mean, where they tried a few years ago to get the Scherzer and the Verlander, and we thought Senga was the next great thing, and he wasn't. And I think they have youth pitching on the way, so I'll say just like, let's wait, guys. But right now their pitching isn't helping them. But then when they do have good pitching performances, like the Tigers, every time they are pitching good, they have no run support. Every time they're hitting good, their pitching fucking sucks and blows up. So that's where the Mets are. The Mets are just having a hard time finding each other. And you could say, yeah, it's a manager problem. Yeah, it's this, it's this. Yeah, it's that. I don't know. It's really hard to pinpoint it. Bo Bichette has taken off again, which is nice. Juan Soto has been reliable. He could be better, especially for what you're paying the guy, but he's not horrible either. Brett Batty, let's give up on that project. I mean, but see, that's me doing what I did to the Cardinals last year. I was like, fucking Jordan Walker's washed, and now he's killing it this year. So, fuck, man, I don't know. I guess look at the bright side. Carson Bench, your rookie's doing really good. Marcus Semien, not great, right? But he's not a liability either. I say you're taking swings and misses on some of your prospects. Your Francisco Alvarez and some of them haven't been great, right? AJ Ewing has had some bright spots, but hasn't been great. I don't know, man. I think it's concerning from a point of what are you? Who are you? Find your identity, what kind of team you're going to be. And I don't think they know that yet. I think they thought we're going to just buy it and figure it out. Look at the New York Knicks, right? New York Knicks basically bought the championship because none of those players were ever drafted by the New York Mets or by the New York Knicks. But they all played a specific role and they all had a specialty. And when it came down to it, they were our gritty team. They did everything right. They did everything. They were just a sound team, and their identity was in a lot of different places, right? Sometimes they need to be physical. Sometimes it was, give Brunson the ball and let him cook. Sometimes it was a defensive game with Mikal Bridges. What are the Mets? So I'm going to end it there. What are the Mets? Until they figure out what they are, Steve, I'm concerned.
Yeah. I couldn't have said it better myself. And let's roll that Lou Bob highlight reel of him with the Mets, right?
Oh, man. Very short. It's like the Aaron Rodgers running out with the flag for the Jets.
3 plays. That was it. Oh, well, that was fun as always. It's good to check in as we get near the All-Star break. And
yes,
with that, shall we head on over to Fantasy Factory?
Let's do it, buddy.
All right. Well, you and I played each other. We had a tight one this past week. We were the matchup of the week. And,
yes.
And I pulled it out 5-4. So it was a squeaker. I'll say that. So
yeah, it was a squeaker. I knew just follow. So anybody who has a close game all week, never and say you're like losing 8-3 or 10 to whatever, but your stats are really close. Never. Just keep doing what you're doing.
Just keep doing
just pull out.
Well, exactly.
Because I could turn around,
Yeah.
And I was literally a Colson Montgomery start away from beating you because I decided, you know what? I'm going to put Arenado in there, who shit the bed, led to his dropping today. Totally dropped him off my team.
Yep.
But Colson Montgomery, I mean, he had two RBIs over the weekend, and I was like, there it is. And I didn't start.
Yeah.
But it was a close game. I knew going into the weekend I would probably keep it a little close, but well fought match. I mean, those are fun matchups.
Yeah.
Because those are the ones where you're like looking at your shit all the time. You're like, okay. You get mad at guys.
Making the chess moves here. What you want to do. Like you said, feeling bad when you bench somebody like I sat Mookie Betts, I think, on a day where he went 4 for 4 or something against the White Sox.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, that's great. But now I need Mookie Betts because I have to shuffle the deck chairs around because Jose Ramirez now is going to be out for a long period of time. So I had to move McGonigal over and then move Mookie now into the shortstop spot. So it's
it also helps.
Bench has gotten a little shorter for me. So
it helps when a player plays multiple positions, I've noticed in baseball, and they're good because it gives you a little bit more flexibility. It's so hard when you're like log jammed at a certain position. And then you're leaving other positions. Like say you look at your lineup and you're like, oh my God, my guys are killing it, but it's this second baseman is fucking things up and I have nobody to put in that spot. and that shit's kind of hard.
Yep.
So you got to get a little crafty in order to make that shit happen.
For sure. Looks like we got a couple ya or nas for
so
week,
I kind of scoured the Yahoo teams of trades that were out there, matchups, and I kind of came across 2 trades that I thought were pretty interesting.
Okay.
This is ya or nah trade analyzer. Steve kind of gives the thumbs up, thumbs down, old school Emperor style. So I saw a trade. This one hits close to you because you have Travis Bazzana. And Travis Bazzana is rising upwards fast. So Travis Bazzana, Mike Trout, this team was going to trade for Hunter Goodman, who's playing out of his mind, who I just traded. But Hunter Goodman, is that a ya or a nah? Everybody's having a decent season.
It is, yeah. Man, that's tough.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say nah, because at least for me recently, Bazzana has been trending kind of downward recently. He went in kind of a 2 for 22 slump or so. So he kind of hit a little bit of his mid-season slump, and like you said, Mike Trout's doing well with the power numbers, but the average is kind of sus. And I look at a Hunter Goodman. The guy's got 20 home runs. He's hitting over 250. Decent RBIs, can steal you some bags. I feel like him as a singular player is better than Trout and Bazzana combined, just because Bazzana is kind of trending, at least in my eyes, downward a little bit. Not to say that he won't turn it back up, but as of right now, I think I'm going to go with a nah on that for me.
Yeah, I'd say Bazzana's trending down. So is Mike Trout. Mike Trout, he's in this part now where you see he's trying too hard now. He's trying to carry the team, and it's just not happening. He's getting into that again, Steve. And Hunter Goodman's good. I don't really know his splits, so I don't know how he is home versus away, because he obviously plays in Coors Field, which is, I mean, like
advantage.
Playing on the moon.
Yeah.
So, I'd like to see his splits. But for the most part, good call there. A second trade that I came across, Cole Reagans, another one having a tough year, but still one of the better pitchers for the Royals, no matter how you look at it. And Fernando Tatis Jr. So this guy wants to give up Cole Reagans and Fernando Tatis Jr. for maybe a Cy Young pitcher who came out and was like, he came out last week because the only thing missing in my career is a Cy Young. It's like, fuck you. He's like, he's under 25. He's fucking, he's like, oh yeah.
He thinks
I don't think he meant it like a dickish, but it's hilarious. Right. It's like,
That's great.
Add it on to the other things. For Yamamoto, I mean, so for Yamamoto, Reagans, Tatis for Yamamoto.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ya on this one. I like it.
Okay.
Like you said, Cole Reagans, it's not his fault that he's pitching for the Royals. It's kind of his fault. It's not his fault that the whole team sucks, but just kind of some bad luck there. And Tatis, 279 average so far this year. Would like to see his offensive numbers perk up a little bit more. Maybe he'll figure it out. But yeah, Yamamoto, very much a stud pitcher. So two, pretty decent players for one really good one. I'm gonna go ya on this one if it were me.
Good.
Yep.
I love it.
I love
it. All right. Well, that transitions over to starter sit. Steve, you're first place in the league. So everybody take what he's saying. Get your pencils out, and Steve's gonna tell you who to start or sit. So you ready to help him, Steve?
I'm ready. Let's cue the music.
All right, Steve, who are we starting this week? Josh Naylor, the dirty player, or Spencer Torkelson, the mid player?
Oh, my God. Dirty or mid? Josh Naylor.
Spencer Torkelson is so mid. It pisses me off.
It really is.
Nathaniel Lowe or Michael Busch, first base?
Michael Busch.
Nico Horner, yikes, or Luis Garcia Jr.?
Hey, you got Nico Horner, though. How's he doing for you?
Yeah, I picked up your scraps. Not great.
Hopefully he turns it around for you, but I'm going to go with Luis Garcia Jr.
Colt Keith or Travis Bazzana, second base?
Colt Keith.
Ernie Clement or Matt Chapman, third base?
Ernie Clement.
Zach Neto or Willie Adames, shortstop?
Zach Neto.
Xavier Edwards or Geraldo Perdomo, shortstop?
Perdomo.
PCA, who hit the cycle. Or Jarren Duran?
Go with PCA.
Two good players here. James Wood or Jackson Cheerio?
James Wood.
I tried stiffing my brother on a Cheerio tray. He totally sniffed it out and denied it.
Oh, crap. Good try.
Weiler Abreu or Sal Frelick.
Sal Frelick.
Jung-Hoo Lee or Kerry Carpenter.
Kerry Carpenter.
Seiya Suzuki or Jesus Sanchez.
Jesus Sanchez.
Lars Nootbaar or George Springer.
Sorry about a couple of turds right here. George Springer.
PCA or Brenton Doyle.
PCA.
Stephen Kwan or Jung-Hoo Lee.
Jung-Hoo Lee.
James Wood or PCA again.
James Wood.
Jackson Churio or Wyatt Langford.
Jackson Churio.
And rounding it out, Bo Bichette or Zach Neto.
I'm going to go with Bo Bichette.
What do we got for waiver wire?
So here's the 3 players I'm looking at this week here on the waiver wire. A couple of pitchers and another Willie Castro sighting. It seems like this guy always pops up at some point.
He does
throughout
too.
the season for our waiver wires. But first up is Brandon Young for Baltimore. He's up 13% in Yahoo leagues. Pitched 7 innings last week, getting the win and striking out 5. Second is, like I said, Willie Castro. He's now with the Rockies. Remember him with the Twins, Tigers, all throughout. But he seems like he has moments. Plus 16 in Yahoo leagues, hit 400 last week with 2 home runs and 7 RBIs. And third, this guy seems to be passed around like a village bicycle. Reed Detmers for the Angels is up 8% in Yahoo leagues. He pitched 7 innings last week with no decision, but he struck out 9. So those are 3 players I'm looking at this week on the waiver wire.
Yeah, Detmers kind of reminds me of.
It's like everybody gets Detmers at some point.
Oh, it just pisses me off. It's just a guy that. It's like, dude, what do we do? Remember Dylan Bundy? He was kind of the same. Like, what are you going to be, man? What are you going to be? And you were great in college, and then you just, I don't know.
Yeah, it's because he plays for the Angels, Mike. What are you going to do, right?
Yeah, what are you going to do? What are you going to do?
Well, it's that time of the month again. It's time for us to head on over to Collection Corner. Shall we do that first here?
Yeah, we're talking to a little Nick Green.
Talking a little, with Nick Green from Hobby Huddle at our interview here for the month of June. What do you say?
Lead us into Collection Corner, Steve.
All right. Yeah. You don't need to be a serious collector to get into cards. Market Movers makes it simple. Just take a picture of any card and instantly see its value, sales history, and add it to your collection. With data from millions of transactions across all major marketplaces, you can trust what you're seeing. You can track your collection, follow your favorite players, and better understand the card market. Plus, members get monthly giveaways, a weekly newsletter, and invites to live events. Use code GONE20 for 2 weeks free. Then 20% off for life at marketmoversapp.com. What's going on, everyone? It's time for another edition of the Hobby Huddle presented by the Market Movers app. And with us from Market Movers, we have Nick Green. Nick, how we doing, man?
What's up, man? Doing great. Another great week of baseball and cards and everything else.
Oh, for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we're into hard to believe we're into June here. This is crazy.
Dude, it's insane.
But as we get going here, if you want to let us know who's trending in a good direction right now, card-wise for baseball?
Yeah, we can run through that a little bit. All right, so I figured this time around we would start off with the overall, just take a step back and look at the overall baseball market and see how things have been trending. I think last time I was on here, we took a look at it and we saw things were starting to cool off a little bit.
Yeah,
we had that early season spring training sort of buzz that then sort of settled into a slower period where we saw baseball sort of falling off a little bit compared to our overall SCI 500 index. So we're kind of seeing that continue here.
Okay.
So I have the same charts pulled up. We got the SCI 500, which is 500 of the most prominent sports cards across all categories. So a good indication of just how the overall sports card market is doing. Over the last 30 days, that's up 4.9%. So you can kind of see that there, that dark blue line. The 3 baseball indexes that I also pulled up here. So same as last time, 2010 through 2017, 2018 through 2020, which is essentially the Ohtani index, and then 21 through 23. And if you take a look at those, this 21 through 23, this most recent set of years is actually down 7.4%.
Wow.
Ohtani index always up and outperforming the SCI 500. And then that 2010 through 2017 period, just a little bit below that SCI 500, but also not growing quite as quickly. So we're just seeing sort of baseball continue to be a little flat depending on which rookies you're chasing, compared to what we were seeing earlier in the season. And I think we're going to see that continue over the next couple months.
Okay. Oh, okay. Well, that's very cool. I love how we, that Otani one. It's always going to be.
Yeah, Otani is like a given. Yeah, like all the time too. Like I don't even know why we're even just. Yeah, no, I mean it's like always the same thing. It's like, is he ever going to be down? No, he's going to be your moneymaker.
Any Otani cards you got from 2018 are good cards to have at the moment.
No,
I always just wonder if that market will ever just be too watered down or what. Just because there's so many Otanis. I know I have a couple Otanis, like one I thought like a rookie card, but then you look at it, it's like, okay, it's okay price, but it's not like soaring. You know what I mean? Like you always wonder if that market's ever going to get too saturated.
2018 was an interesting year. It wasn't quite, we hadn't quite reached the COVID boom. Print runs were still down a little bit, so there weren't as many cards as we would get in the next 2, 3, 4 years. So there's still, compared to where we are today, fewer Shohei Ohtani rookie cards than, say, I don't know, James Wood, for instance.
Right.
So there are, fewer, and then obviously he's demonstrated he probably is going to be the best player ever. So I think those are still a really good buy at the moment. And obviously with the international interest coming in from Japan and just the growth of the hobby overall and sort of his legend continuing to build, I don't think you can go wrong with any Shohei Ohtani cards, honestly.
No, that's true. That's true. So what do we want to look at here next? Do you have are we looking at trending players? What do we? Oh, there we go. Yeah. All right.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I went ahead and pulled up just hot cards. Yeah. If I show the filters here, we got baseball, specifically looking at just graded cards, PSA 10, so we get a consistent look across all different players and cards. Set the last sale at $100, so these are going to be your kind of mid-tier to upper-tier cards, and then, setting up at least 10 sales. If I had that at 1, you'd see some random guys with one random big sale sort of jump in there. So this is sort of trying to remove some of those outliers so we can get a better idea of who's actually been climbing with multiple sales kind of going on. So just in gallery view here in Market Movers, where you can kind of flip through and actually see all of the individual cards that are going up. Yeah. No surprise, lots of Shohei Ohtani, some Paul Skeens. If I go back up here to the top and switch to list view, we can actually sort of start filtering this by different statistics. So up 116%, Jacob Gonzalez, his Bowman Draft Chrome Prospect Auto, really leading the way there. After his call-up, that's really no surprise. Juan Soto, I think, haven't been paying as close attention to the Mets, but I believe he's been playing really well lately, coming back from injury.
Yeah.
Mizorowski, who, no surprise on that one. 1990 Donruss, Ken Griffey Jr. in a PSA 10. That's a weird one, but, Ken Griffey Jr., one of those players who always seems to be a good buy, even in a 1990 Donruss. Only a pop 535 on that card, so looking back, that's got to be one of the most printed sets of all time, probably billions of those cards. So compared to how many there are, pop 535 is pretty low. So no surprise there that's, up to $170. Colt Emerson, Frank Thomas also. That's a strange one, but he's up in there. And then a bunch of Shohei Ohtani's, Bobby Wood Jr., Kyle Schwarber making a jump in there, which is interesting.
No surprise.
Nick Kurtz, Paul Skeens, Jesus Made, who I think pulled into maybe number 1 on the top 100 prospects.
Yep.
When I was looking at that. So another, one of those ones up to $1,200 on his Chrome Prospect Auto.
Insane, dude.
Pretty crazy. Assuming he's still got a little bit of time before he makes the jump to the big leagues, I would figure there's probably still a little room for this to go up, kind of like what we saw with Connor Griffin earlier this year. So that's a wild price, but there's probably still some room on it. Switching over to player view here, Riku Nishida, obviously he was a bit of he made an appearance on social media and in some highlight reels a couple weeks ago. So I know he's another exciting Japanese player out there in Chicago. Jacob Gonzalez, Denzer Guzman, I'm not familiar with. Maybe I'm just not following prospects as closely as I should be. Kyle Harrison, Miguel Vargas, Mizorowski, Mariano Rivera, which is weird. Luis Ariz. So these are just players who have had a lot of sales over the last 30 days and have been jumping up in price.
Okay. Wow.
There's some surprises in there. Some that are like not big surprises too. Like I'm not surprised to see Cole Emerson up there. I'm not surprised. Some of the rookies, Jesus Mate. Well, that one's crazy. Like he's going to be kind of the new Wander Franco. Like the market reset on that. So
sure.
That's an interesting one.
Yeah.
So. Wow. It's one of those things. Just keep an eye on the market. If you follow baseball, if you see players that are getting a lot of buzz, their prices are probably also following.
Yeah. Hence the Kyle Schwarber and flirting with the home run record. That's probably why he's getting a bit of a bump right there. Yeah.
That's why I'm not surprised. Yeah, exactly, man.
Nope, not at all. Where should we go next? I'm excited. Should we talk releases? What we got going on? I think we got a big one coming up, right? Yeah,
yes, sir.
Yeah, depending, I guess, on when this segment airs. Topps Series 2, which is the second release of the yearly flagship set from Topps, is coming out. And I haven't really ever done this, but I wanted to take a look at some of the historical data. So in Market Movers, we also track sealed product. Okay. So there's a lot of people out there who just buy boxes instead of cards and somehow resist the temptation of opening those boxes.
Jeez.
And have a collection of sealed products. We track all those prices as well. And it's actually a really great tool for buying sealed product. I use it pretty often to try to, find deals on sealed wax that I will actually be opening up. So it's kind of a great tool for that, or just for tracking prices over time and seeing if you're getting a good deal on a price on a box. But as I pulled up Topps Series 2 from 2020 all the way through 2025, just to kind of get an idea of how some of these have been performing. Yeah. So we're going all the way back to August 2021 when we started tracking the data on all these boxes. And you can kind of see, like, historically, they just sort of come out, they go flat for a little bit, and then they tend to rise quite a bit. A lot of it is just depending on the rookie class. When they first come out, there's some excitement about these players. Might die off a little bit as new rookies come into the league, but then they sort of pick up as those guys start performing, and those boxes start picking up in value. So I think we're going to see something similar with 2026 Topps Series 2. Even just looking back at 2025 Topps, so last year, as a comparison, it came out here at 127, and most recently it sold at 154. Wow. So you're going to probably see a lot of these new boxes actually go up in price over the next year. But if you are someone who's looking for a deal and you do want to open some product, generally there is a bit of dip after release. So wait a couple weeks and you can probably get it for a little cheaper, honestly.
Okay. Wow. Yeah. I remember I go back to remember 2018. Speaking of sealed products, Mike, so you and I would always split hobby boxes, and we had the Otani year. You and I split. I remember we sat at, I think, a Mexican restaurant here and opened those cards.
Yeah, randomly.
Imagine if we resisted temptation, just kept that box sealed, right? Because I think we split like $100, I think. So we both put in like 50 to get that box. Yeah.
I always wondered, people, like, just the amount of willpower you have not to open a box. It's insane. Like I couldn't do it.
No. Yeah. That was
entertain me here. I'm gonna put in 2018 Topps. I know it wasn't a hobby box, but let's just see.
Yeah.
Let's just see where some of these 2018 Topps baseball hobby boxes are at right now.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's over 3,000.
Oh my Lord! Look at that.
I don't know what you guys were opening, but generally you probably should not have opened your.
Yeah, it was the update, because that's where the Otani rookies started.
Steve, we should have just held on to that box.
Yeah. Yeah, because I pulled the just regular Topps update. I pulled the base card of it, which goes for okay money. But I'm looking at how much the hobby boxes are. I'm like, oh my God,
dude, what? Insane. Yeah, that was a good year. Yeah,
it was. Holy cow!
Shit. You never know. The longer it sits there, it could have that crazy Shohei Ohtani rookie in there, or it could have absolutely nobody.
Oh, yep, that's true. Because some of these series have been duds, as far as the rookie classes are concerned.
Yeah, that's why everybody goes all in on rookies, because you just never know. I mean, you could be holding that holy grail, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Well, speaking of
go for it.
rookies, obviously the class is very rookie dependent. So I did pull up all of the rookies that you're going to be able to find in this new product of top 2026 Top Series 2.
Okay.
I kind of went ahead and highlighted those in green that were interesting to me. Obviously, there's people out here who might know, let's say, the Detroit Tigers better than me, and maybe Drew Summers is a prospect that someone's chasing.
I'm not.
I don't know anything about Drew Summers. But generally, like, you can take a look at the overall rookie class and the checklist, and just glancing through, if you see some names that pop out that you say, okay, that guy probably has a good future out of him, this might be a good box to keep sealed. Or you might see no names and just think, okay, this is something worth passing on, or buying some singles that I actually want of players that I want down the road. So, looking through here, Sal Stewart kind of stood out to me.
Hell yeah.
Okamoto stood out, just exciting Japanese player. DeLauder. Murakami, obviously, I think is going to be your biggest rookie in this set.
Yes. Yeah.
And the one everyone's going to be chasing, and just having him in this set is really going to drive some interest in this product long term, assuming he has a really good career. Another Imai, just Japanese players. There's a lot of excitement. You never know what can happen with them. And then there's just like a lot of players in this list that, apologies for not being fully up to speed on McCade Brown's game, but not someone who I would necessarily be excited about.
Yeah.
Trey Savage down here, but then you can just see how many of the rookies there are in the set. And odds are, if you're going to get a nice rookie auto, it's going to be one of these guys not named Murakami.
Right. That's very true.
So,
it's interesting when the market, sometimes when a rookie jumps to the majors that nobody expected them, I always wondered how that goes. Like Soto, nobody expected Juan Soto to jump up. What was it, in 2019, Steve? With the with the Nationals, nobody expected him to jump up there that soon. I mean, he went right from A-ball, I believe, to like the majors. So it's always interesting how, like, when these rookie sets come out, that if that person's not in there, then you're hopefully getting the next one, even though that's not, you know what I mean? It's like, oh, he's been in the majors a minute after that. But those are always interesting,
the players that you can see coming from a mile away, that get drafted and are highly touted prospects, and they're going to make their MLB debut. Those are the ones that generally have a really high price point in Bowman product. And then when they do finally get the rookie card, usually it comes out of the gate pretty hot. But a lot of these players, people just aren't even aware of. They make their debut. And I think it was maybe a Savage who did this last year, kind of just came on the scene out of nowhere. And then all of a sudden, like, his Bowman cards blew up. So it can happen to anyone. All it takes is a couple really exciting weeks or big games, and their price can jump pretty quickly.
Yeah, they threw him on the playoff roster, and he just took off. They're like, "Who is this kid?" And now, like, yeah, man,
for sure.
So he gets his first official rookie card here in this set. So
that's dope.
For someone who wants your Savage cards, this is going to be a big set for you.
Cool.
Or if you like any of these other players, this is going to be a good opportunity to load up on their cards. But the set is going to go as the rookies go. So hopefully there's some guys in here that can become all-stars or put together some really good careers long term.
Or also bottom out and get cheap after a while.
I wonder if it's always been like that. When I was a kid and I used to collect, when I first started, I was never looking for the rookie. I was always looking for my favorite player. But now, and then there was a long time when I didn't collect for, when you're young and trying to, get your life going. Yeah, well, just through your early 20s and that. And then now that I'm back into collecting over a decade now, it's funny that everybody's going for the rookie cards. Everybody's like, no, you got to get those boxes for the rookie cards, not for your favorite player, which is insane. It's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, most players are going to have 1 year of rookie cards.
Right.
And after that, they're going to get a card every year as long as they keep playing. So
absolutely,
there will be plenty of other non-rookie cards for most players. So it's just that first card that everybody really wants.
Yeah.
And besides Series 2, what else are we looking at for release-wise?
So I pulled up the Topps release calendar here. looking at June 9th through the 23rd. So these are just going to be the ones really coming up in the next couple weeks. Bowman Sapphire Edition Baseball is going to be a pretty big one. Generally a really high-end set. You get a box for a lot of money and get very few cards, but generally those cards are going to be really good cards. That's going to be a set that you're going to have a lot of Bowman prospect collectors going after. That's really their high-end set of the year. We get Top Series 2, obviously, we just talked about. Looking at other baseball sets, Dynamic Duels is a relatively new one where you're getting, teammates or 2 players on a card. So that should be a relatively smaller set, I would say. Topps Dynasty Baseball, another really high-end set that people really love. You're going to get a lot of autographs, a lot of relics, a lot of really cool cards coming out of that. And then we kind of get a little bit of a break until you get Topps Inception Baseball, still looking at 2025. So we're still getting 2025 sets coming out into the halfway point of the 2026 season. But you're going to still, get some really cool autographs, some really beautiful cards coming out of that set. And then the big one on here, that 2026 Topps Chrome Baseball on June 22nd. That's going to be probably the most popular baseball set of the year so far as just the number of great cards that are going to be coming out of there, the hype that's going to be around that set. Getting a box is going to be very difficult, I would imagine. Or at least getting a box at retail. But if you can get a box and you're able to open one of those up, this should be a really fun set to collect.
Yeah, those Chrome cards are always great. When you're getting the rookies, you want the Chrome always gives you the higher value on that. So it's gonna be a sought after box, that's for sure.
Well, have you noticed over the years? I mean, within the last 5 years, Inception and Cosmic. I mean, those cards have just blew up, and there's never used to be like a thing. I mean, they weren't hyped when they first came out. They were like, oh, these are kind of cool looking cards, and now they're sought after as well. So Topps is doing their thing, man.
Yeah. So what else we got going on over at Market Movers? You got Fanatics. I know that's coming up in July, I believe. But anything on the pipeline going on here for y'all?
Things are a little quiet right now. We're continuing to work on the app, make some improvements just to the life of it, make it a little more enjoyable for users. No major feature updates coming out until we get closer to the National at the end of July.
Cool. Okay.
So July will be a very big month for us, the hobby, baseball, summer, just everything in general. So we'll be out at Fanatics Fest at the Javits Center in New York mid-July. Talked a little about that last time we were on here. Just a great show for people who love sports and great experience all around. A big card scene there. So we'll be there showing off the app. And then we'll be going out to the National in Rosemont, just outside of Chicago, for the end of July for the National Sports Collectors Convention. So we'll have a bigger booth out there. We'll be out there for the full week, doing the same thing, giveaways, showing off the app, recording content. So if anyone's at the National, come say hello.
All right. Well, Nick, as always, thanks for joining us. Love the Market Movers app. Still scanning anytime I get free time. I'm down there. I got a pretty big baseball card collection, so slowly but surely getting that in. And that scanning feature on the camera on the app is really helping out with that. So
absolutely
keep up the great work. We appreciate it.
Great to hear. Thank you, guys.
All right. Thanks, Nick.
All right. See ya.
Oh, Marla loves it. Marla definitely loved that interview with Nick Green from Market Movers. Always good to chat with Nick. I'd go pick up Thor right now. I don't know if people can see him in the background, but I'm afraid he might bite me if I tried that, because he's in.
It'd be definitely a wrestling match going on in the background.
Yeah, it might be good entertainment though for the folks watching us on YouTube. Though that would be
absolutely
that'd be kind of fun. But always good to talk with Nick. Love the Hobby Huddle segment and hearing what's going on at Market Movers. I know they're getting ready for Fanatics Fest and the National, and lots of good product coming out. So always good to chat with him. But
I one thing I love, since we've they've came on as a sponsor. I love that we're in a really important time in their in their growth, right? When they moved over to the picture, with their new technology they have. I love that we're a part of that and we get to promote it, because it's I feel like they're going like this,
It's good to be a part of. Good to be a part of that ride there, because they're great, great company, great people, and they're, great product. They're really, making strides. I love that scanning feature.
I do too.
So, well,
Absolutely.
with that, shall we get the candles out and celebrate birthday?
I do. Let's do it. Yeah.
All right. Well, looking online at this guy, one of my favorite cards for him, I might have to pick this up for myself eventually. Marla agrees with that. She probably thinks it's good stuff. It's his 1961 Topps, number 141, his rookie card, and that's none other than Billy Williams. So it's a happy birthday to Cubs great and Hall of Famer Billy Williams, born on June the 15th of 1938. Looking at Billy's numbers here: 290 career batting average, 2,711 hits, 426 career home runs, 1,475 runs batted in. Spent most of his career there from 1959 to 1974 with the Chicago Cubs, and then rounded out his career in 1975, 1976 with the Oakland Athletics. It's funny, he actually finally got to taste the playoffs when he went over to Oakland there at the tail end of his career. Sorry, didn't get any with the Cubs there. Part of some fun Cubs teams that just kind of get to the playoffs.
Couldn't do it.
Also was a coach, coached with the Cubs in 80 to 82, and then the A's from 83 to 85, and then back with the Cubs from 86 to 87, and then 1992 to 2001. He's a 6-time All-Star, NL Rookie of the Year in 1961, NL Batting Champion in 1972. His number 26 is retired by the Chicago Cubs, and he's part of the Chicago Cubs Hall of Fame. Inducted into baseball's Hall of Fame in 1987 on his 6th ballot. A little trivia on Billy Williams here. His 853 RBIs and 2,799 total bases in the 1960s were the most by any left-handed hitter in the major leagues.
Ooh.
So there we go. Yeah.
Let me ask you, with Billy Williams here.
Yeah.
Does he belong in the Hall of Fame?
No, he doesn't. I'm sorry. I mean,
it's tough.
He doesn't check the boxes. Doesn't hit the 300 career average.
Nope.
Doesn't get the 3,000 hits.
Nope.
Doesn't hit the 500 home runs. Doesn't hit the 1,500 RBI. So he's very, very good. He would definitely be in my. If he wasn't in the Hall of Fame, he probably would have been one of the top picks for the Hall of Really Good that we did last week. But
yeah,
I think he was a very solid player. He definitely belongs in the Cubs Hall of Fame. Definitely see why his number got retired, but it doesn't quite check those boxes for me for baseball's Hall of Fame.
Well, it makes you wonder too, right? I mean, we look at somebody like Fred McGriff. Fred McGriff played 2 years longer than Billy Williams, was able to get those benchmarks, the 1,500 RBIs, almost 500 home runs, but the 1,500 RBIs put him over the mark, right? And then obviously when you had the World Series and the All-Star and the All-Star appearances and Silver Slugger's great, but that benchmark, I feel like if Fred McGriff never got that, but it took him 2 years to do it. Billy Williams retired at 38 years old and fell just short of 500 home runs with I think he was 30 short or something, or more than that.
He was about 125, or he was 25 RBIs short of that 1,500 mark, and only 289 short of 3,000. So
and then also
two average seasons or so, it could have got over 3,000 hits. If he would have played those 2 more years.
And 80 something home runs away from. Or less than that.
Probably couldn't have got the 500, but if he would have done the 2 extra years, he definitely would have got the RBIs and definitely would have got the hits. Yeah. Too bad the Tampa Bay Rays weren't around at that point, because isn't that where aging players went to die at the end of their career?
Oh yeah,
like Fred McGriff and Wade Boggs and players like that. They just went to the Rays there to close things out.
Even the Montreal Expos, when in their heyday when they first started up, it was like, hey, we're aging. All right, go play for the Montreal Expos and revive that career, would you?
Yep.
The Mariners when they were the Pilots. There was teams that did that. But Billy Williams, he kind of just fell short of a little bit. Short. 6 ballot got in. I Hall of Really Good, but I don't think he was definitely.
Agreed. I completely agree.
Whew. So happy birthday, you lucky son of a bitch, because you would have got in if me and Steve were voting.
That's right. Still alive too. I think he's 88 years old. Yeah. Shit.
Yeah, man.
That's good. That's impressive.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Well, that's a fucking show.
Good show, man. Good show.
Good show. Guys, go on our YouTube channel.
Check it out.
Long Gone the Podcast. Thank you for listening. Thank you for everything you've been doing. Thank you for sending questions in. I know we heard in the Hobby Huddle segment, we're going to be doing a giveaway.
Yep.
Again, so be sure to check your fucking emails, check your spam. Once we get that rolling again, we're going to do probably, I'm sure, July or something coming up. So be sure. So we want to give you shit. So
yeah, we don't want you sitting here. Check your email. All right.
Yeah, check your fucking email, dude.
Check your email, or I'm taking it, but not really.
Yeah. Or Steve's gonna mail you a turd.
Yeah.
His turd.
Or my cats, one of the two.
Or your cats.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, guys, have a great week. And Steve and I will catch you all next week.
Deuces.